Okay, Bhuthana, let's look at your outline and your writing here, and I'll give you some feedback. Okay, so first of all, don't put outline. I know it's an outline. Put the title of the article, yeah? Introduction, okay, so you've included all the points here. That's great. Let's just see what information you have here. Information is degenerative disease, central nervous system. There were no differences in clinical features. Okay, what do you mean there's no differences? I think you need to explain this more. Remember, you're writing point form here. The aim of the study is to document the clinical characteristics of MS in Oman. Good. And you missed a crucial part, which is compare it to other studies, right? So you also need to mention that. Patients and methods. Okay, good. 30 patients. Excellent. You probably don't need to say both 30 patients and then 16 male and 14 female, just because that's sort of redundant. So in your writing, remember we're working on keeping it as condensed as possible. So you don't need to say both, right? It was held in Oman. Okay, held is the wrong word, but that's okay. It's just notes. Between June and 1990 and 2000. Good. All patients were seen and followed up by the authors. Okay, that's fine. The data was collected through neurological examination. Okay, good. The only other point that you could add here is the test that they use to determine the different characteristics, but that's okay. But it's not mandatory, so you have all the information here. Okay. Remember, we're looking for the points that match what you're saying in the discussion and the conclusion, i.e. the points that are highlighted in the conclusion. That is that they found two characteristics that were the most common. And this is the lesions between the optic nerve and spinal cord. Okay, good. 1/3 of patients had optical spinal form disease. Good. Okay, so those are the 2 points I'm talking about. Excellent. The course of illness was remittent and relapsing in 23 seconds. Okay, this is not needed, actually, because this is not what the study was about. It wasn't about the aim. It's not mentioned in the conclusion. It's really not important. That's a detail that people would read about in the study. No family cases were reported. Okay, so you missed the important part, which is where you got the facts here. Yeah, you're talking about the facts, but you didn't mention that in the discussion or the conclusion. Remember that they are the main reason that they do the study was to find the characteristics that were most obvious in the patients, right? And you need to confirm that in the discussion. Even though you've mentioned the stats, you still need to say that in the discussion, okay? But the family history cases, that's important in the sense that they need to talk about problems with their study, right? So that's good. But you also need to mention the other points. Our series has equal number of patients. Okay. Future studies in Oman. Okay, good. Okay, but again, in their conclusion, they specifically said the characteristics that were evident. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's look at your writing here. Multiple sclerosis, inflammatory disease. Good. The reason why researchers wanted to study this. Okay. So why researchers wanted to study this? Okay. So remember that in this summary, you're writing as if you are the study members, and remember, you have to use passive. So the reason this study was conducted, right, or the reason this study was carried out, okay, is to explore the clinical features, okay, or wanted this study because there were no differences in clinical features. What do you mean there's no differences? I think you're misquoting this here, okay? Okay, the aim of the study is to document the clinical characteristics of Oman, again, and compare it to other studies, right? Okay, so same problem here that I said in your outline, okay? And in fact, your outline is exactly like your writing, okay? So again, point form in your outline, and then full sentences in your writing. You're wasting your time because you're basically writing this twice. Okay? Again, okay, so you can't have brackets here. This doesn't make grammatical sense, right? Anything outside of the brackets, if you have it in brackets, you can omit it. So age between what? What is it, age between? So you have to remove the brackets here. It was held in Oman between 1990 and 2000. Okay, that's fine. There's a space between June and 2000, please. All patients were seen and followed up by the authors during the entire period of study. That's fine. The data was collected through neurologic evaluation and detailed. Okay, good. Family history. The results showed that the lesions were distributed in the optic nerve. They weren't distributed, these are clinical features that they're recognizing, okay? So the grammar here or the wording is incorrect. 1/3 of patients had the spinal optical form of the disease. The course of illness was remittent and relapsing in 23. Okay, I've already talked to you about that. Okay, the results indicate that there is no familial. Okay, you are missing a key point in the conclusion here. Okay, I mentioned this in your outline. It's the same thing. Okay, look at the conclusion again. Tell me what they found according to the aim. What are they looking for in the aim? They're looking for clinical characteristics of MS in Oman. Did you talk about that in the conclusion? No. You have the correct information from the results. That's great. But you also need to say that those were the most common in the results. Okay. Other than that, that's all my comments for now. But let's work on the conclusion now. Okay. Great. Thank you.